Hello, UMBC. This is Maureen. I'm going to lead an energy medicine yoga practice. It's helpful if you have a mat and yoga blocks. And if you don't, then you're going to find a substitute. Hardbound book is a good idea, or a full toilet paper roll. Have two of them. And a towel, folded up towel is good just to lift your hips while we're sitting, and also could go underneath your knees just to pad them. All right, so find a comfortable seated position, and while I'm talking, just adding a little bit of gentle movement to your body in whatever way feels good. You might twist. Just briefly, energy medicine yoga, it's about integrating and activating and aligning your physical body with your subtle energy body, the visible with the invisible. And the goal is to just really help you to move more optimally, to help you work with your energy, your natural energy flows, and not pedal against it, not try to swim upstream. So that just takes a little practice to learn how to listen to your body. What are the right inputs? What's the optimal output? You learn the language of energy, you learn the language of your body. So let's begin with a comfortable seated position. Let's take a minute to center. Lifting your hips up with this towel is helpful to keep your knees equal with your hips or even lower. You can sit crisscross, or you can place feet one in front of the other with knees leaning down. To help you center, I invite you to lower your gaze or to close your eyes completely. I'm just taking in a deep breath in through the nostrils. And as you exhale, opening your mouth, blowing out like you're blowing out a candle. Doing that a couple of times. And just to let the breath sweep through your mind and sweep through your body, giving yourself a few moments to arrive to your body, to this mat, to this practice. So we slow the body down. We come into some stillness. And then we smooth the breath out. Just with a little bit of focus, a little bit of intention, not coming into any disturbance or any holding in the breath. Just trying to give a little bit of smoothness and stretch it out a bit. And for our pranayama, I'm going to also, beyond the breath work, I'm going to introduce the neurovascular hold that we did the last practice. So just take the palm of your hand and place it on your forehead. These are called the oh my God points, because this is often what you do when things go not as expected. So your pinky finger is over the eyebrows and your index finger is right up along the hairline. And this time I'm going to add a second one with 3 fingers touch in this little notch between the collarbones. This little indentation at the base of your throat with 3 fingers. These are light touches. You're not pressing. And holding in these 2 points is very calming. You're touching, the thing with energy medicine yoga is you learn lots of different points and buttons and levers on your body. And these different areas that you can tap into with different functions in the body and different energy systems of the body. The 3 fingers at the base of your neck is a triple warmer energy point and is very calming. You're reversing the fight or flight response. And I now encourage you to practice the pranayama samavrita, equal breath. So use a number just to establish this. Anywhere between 3 and 6. If you choose a 3 count inhale, then aim for a 3 count exhale. Just practicing that for a few rounds of breath. While holding these 2 points, with your eyes lowered or your eyes closed. And then release those hands. Release that breath practice. Return to your normal breath and bring your hands to meet at your heart in Anjali Mudra. Take a moment, set an intention for your practice, a single word. Think of it as a quality, a characteristic, an aspiration, something you want more of. Just remembering beyond energy medicine yoga, there is a law that is accepted, that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed or transferred. Keeping that in mind, let's transform our energy. Take a deep breath in. And an even deeper, slower breath out. Release your hands to your thighs. Open your eyes. Take your hands off to the side, palms face forward. And let's warm up with a few sun breaths. Inhale, arms out wide and up high. When you're ready to exhale, turn your palms away and lower slowly. Let breath lead movement. Inhale. At the top of your inhale, the hands will meet up overhead as you reach up and lengthen and maybe look up. Turn your palms away and exhale, slowly lower. Maybe pull your shoulder blades a little closer together. On an inhale, last one. Rise up, reach up, look up, and exhale, lower. And release. Let's do an energy clearing. Take your left hand and just lightly squeeze the opposite shoulder and then cross down to the opposite hip. Switch sides, squeeze, and slice down. This is something you can do at any time of day. We need to continuously clear this old, stagnant, or negative energy out of our body. And this is just a very easy one, the crossover pattern. You lightly squeeze the muscle, kind of almost grabbing the tension with that, like a magnetic effect, and then sweeping it off, crossing down the body and letting it go. Just an offering for you. Extend your legs out long and pedal the feet and bend the knees. And then let's wake up the feet. Do a foot massage. Bring the right ankle on top of the left knee, thumbs on the sole of the foot, fingers massage the top of the foot, and try to just add some space. So perhaps you grab opposite big toe, little toe, and just take them in opposite directions. Thumbs press into the base, the sole of the foot. Don't forget kidney one between the first toe and the second toe at the base of the ball of the foot. Give a little extra attention there. Come on down to the heel. And then twist and lift each toe. Remembering that 6 meridians begin and end on the feet. That usually means there's quite a lot of traffic there and there's a lot of stuck energy. So take the time to give your feet attention. Take the top of the foot towards the body, open and contract, and take the top of the toes away from the body, and then clap the foot. Shake it up, get some blood flow there, shake it out, and then open. And just let this be a hip opening. Think of greasing up the joints. Bend this knee, and let's begin with some hamstring. We're going to continue working on hamstring. That's what we did last week. We're going to add to it. So let your fingers really give those hamstrings. There's 3 muscles of the hamstrings. Give them some pressure, some massage from the sit bones all the way up to the knee. And then for the calves, use the thumbs. And you're digging in there. It should be a little tender. Down to the ankle. And then when you get to the feet, let's do the top of the feet. This is called clearing the gates of the feet in energy medicine. You're going to get your finger in between the long bones between each toe, between these metatarsals, and you're giving a little pressure. And you're pushing down and then pinching off at the webbing right between the toes. You can do it with 1 finger at a time, or you can do all 4 fingers if you can find those bones and get between them. And you're really pushing into there, and it should feel just a little tender. That means you're doing the right thing, and you're getting the right spot. To push off between the webbing of the toe, you have to do that individually with 1 finger. And then just sweep down. That's helpful for lymphatic. Let's do the other leg. Bring the left ankle on top of the right knee. Thumbs massage the bottom of the foot. When you begin at the toes, take time to just grab underneath the big toe and the little toe and take it in opposite directions. That's creating some space. And then a little extra attention for this kidney one energy point, the only energy point on the sole of the foot and right between the first and second toe at the mound, the base of the mound of the ball of foot. Add intention. Get in there. You're trying to take it from the center out to the sides. Giving the feet some attention. They're so critical. They are the foundation for the majority of our poses. All right. Twist and wiggle each toe. Like twist and lift. Think you're making some space between your toes and you're waking these toes up. Wiggle, wiggle, twist, twist, pull. And then take the top of the foot towards your body. Take the top of the foot away from your body. And give it a clap. And shake it out. And then grab your foot and open at the hip. And send it out long. Oh, forgot. Do the hamstring massage. Bend the knee. Fingers are massaging from the sit bone all the way up to the knee. Give it a massage. Give it a little extra time. Go back and forth on here twice. These muscles need a little extra attention. And we're going to be working with them today, so we help ourselves with a little massage first. Thumbs on the calves and fingers on the front of the shin, going from insertion down to ankle. And then let's clear the gates of the feet. Think you're going between the long metatarsal bones. You should be adding enough pressure that it feels just a little bit tender, and then push or pinch off it between the webbing of the toes. Going now down between each toe, you can use all 4 fingers to get down the long bones of the feet to get between them. But when it comes to pinching off, you need to go 1 finger at a time. And release and let it go and come onto your back. Not sure what just happened. Okay. Come onto your backs, and we're going to do the same pose we did last week with a strap. We used the strap in the last practice, but we're not going to use the strap in this practice. Instead, we're going to rely on our foundation. So when you get down to your back, take a full body stretch. Extend long. Arms above your head. Reach, 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 and point your toes away from your midline. And enjoy that full body stretch. Now, bend your knees and send your arms out wide to a T. This is Supta Pada Kustasana. Take your right sole of the foot, lift it off the ground, bend that knee close to your chest, and then send the right sole of the foot up toward the ceiling with the intention to lengthen it. If your hamstring is tight, then your knee will bend, and you're going to work with whatever's available. Decide if you want to keep the anchor leg, the left leg, bent, in which case you press the sole of the left foot into the ground, or if you want to challenge, you extend the left leg long and you press the heel into the ground, and you really use this leg for foundation as well as the back hips and the back shoulder blades and these arms spread out wide. All right, let's add whatever length you can to the right leg. Flex both feet, keep them active. Press into the back hips and into the back shoulder blades, and then take your right leg out wide. Only go as far as you can keep both hips on the ground. If that left hip pops up, then bring that leg a little closer to your center. So just use your arms, your elbows, really press into the ground to help you open out wide with this right leg. And then pull it back up to center and allow the right leg to cross over the midline and fall to the left. Like I've got a wall in the way, but you really want to let your leg fall over as far as you can. Right hip pops off the ground, and you just enjoy this counter movement, this counter pose. And then use your core to draw the leg back up to 12 o'clock. Pull the toes towards your chin just to check in and see what your length of your hamstrings is like, and bend the right knee and release. Right leg down to the ground, let everything go. Bend the left knee, and let's do the same on the other side. Since I've got a wall in my way, I'm going to turn around. With arms out to a T, you're going to bend the left knee, lift the left foot off the ground, and send the left sole of the foot up toward the ceiling. Foot flexed, trying to have a long leg. In that case, it might be helpful to keep your right leg bent and press into the whole foot.
or extend the right leg long for a challenge and press into the right heel. Feel your foundation. 2 back hips, 2 back shoulder blades, long arms, right leg. Take the left leg out wide. Keep everything connected to the earth. Keep both hips connected to the earth. Use your arms. Really press into the right heel. And open out wide. A lot of activation here, a lot of core. And then pull your right leg, your left leg up to center. And let it cross the midline and fall over to the left. You can come into a full twist. If you have that space, just let that leg fall over. The left hip rises and you're countering the pose. And then inhale, arms up to center, and exhale, lower down to the ground and release. Just take a breath in and a breath out without any effort. And then bend your knees. We're going to roll up to seated, and if you can, roll up to standing. So it might take a few rocks back and forth, and you can hold the backs of your thighs and see if you can roll up with momentum to standing. If not, come up to standing in whatever way serves you. And then just shake it all out. We're going to do a little side bend, wake up the side body. So find Tadasana, your feet are like the number 11. Lift your toes up, spread them out, have a good solid and wide foundation. Legs are active, core pulls in, tailbone points down. Inhale, arms out wide and up high overhead. Exhale, right hand lowers down to the hip and you side bend over to the right. And keep this shoulder up, don't let it come forward. But to add to it, you might push this left hip farther left. And then inhale, hands meet up overhead. Exhale, left hand lowers. And finish the exhale with a side bend to the left. Keep pushing this right shoulder back. Don't let it curl forward. And then if you want to add to it, you can push the right hip away. And then inhale, hands meet up overhead. Hands touch. Exhale, release them to your heart and let it go. Energy medicine yoga. Let's make palms that face up. And then just start to lift up high overhead. Start low at the base of your body. It's called the scoop. And it's called fluffing your aura. So it's as though you're scooping. You should feel a little bit of air. Just doing that lightly 3 times and let it go. All right, yin-yang meridian clear. Come back to Tadasana. Engage your feet, engage your legs, and inhale, arms out wide and up overhead. Let the right hand, I'm not going to mirror you, the right hand will sit on top of the left hand and then trace down the outside of the body. This is yang energy that comes down, typically comes down the outside of the body. Cross over at the belt meridian, hands press into the outside edges of the legs and slide down off the pinky toe, shake your hands off. 2 fingers come to the inside of the big toe as you draw and trace those fingers up the inside of the legs. This is drawing yin energy up from the earth and tracing up through the spleen meridian, flare out at the hip crease, up to the armpits, and then down to the side ribs. Release, inhale, arms back up overhead. This time, left hand sits on top of the right hand as you trace down the outside edges of arms, shoulders, ribs. Pull across the belt meridian, hands touch the hips and slide down the gallbladder meridian off the pinky toe, shake. 2 fingers come inside the big toe. As you draw up and trace the spleen meridian, we're moving with the directionality of these meridians, strengthening them and nurturing them. Release, hands rise up overhead, fingertips touch, thumbs touch, but palms spread apart. Exhale, release down, thumbs touch the heart, index fingers touch where the collarbones almost meet. This is the triple warmer mudra. Take another deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And I encourage you to keep this mudra as you step wide, toes out, heels point in, and we sink into Malasana. Coming down as far as feels comfortable for you or your muscles allow, and keeping this triple warmer mudra. Keep active if this is easy. Lift up through pelvic floor and core, and lift your heart and lift your gaze. And then hands touch the ground. One knee lowers, the other knee lowers, and you come into table pose. This blanket might be helpful to pad your knees with a towel, if you like. Come into table pose and have a little free play. Move the body in whatever way feels good when you come into this pose. Just let your body warm up a little, let your body lead. Take as long as you like, and when you're ready, we'll meet back on the rails with hands under shoulders, knees under hips, toes tucked. Spread your hands out wide like a starfish to distribute weight, and press into the fingertips and the finger mounds. Move through your cat-cow. And inhale, you lift your hips, lower your belly, and push your heart through the shoulders. This is the cow back. It's a big inhale. Exhale, reverse. Tailbone points down, lift the ribs up. Push the shoulder blades up towards the sky and chin to the chest. Exhale completely. And then reverse. Inhale, do this at your own timing, at your own pace. Follow your breath if it's different from mine. And exhale through cat back. And when you're done, we'll meet in neutral table. And let's add in Anjali Asana. Take your right foot forward. Feel that there's a 90-degree bend. You're very stable here. With these strong foundation, lift your spine up nice and tall, and really feel that your spine is this column of energy, this conduit of energy. The tailbone points down, the crown of the head points up, and you're lengthening. Now we can add to this by hands come down to touch the floor. And you can either walk that front foot forward or you can walk the back knee back. But you're just adding a little bit more space and then lowering the hips, and that will challenge that hip flexor. So check in, tune in, is that right for you, or do you prefer the 90-degree bend? You can lift your gaze to challenge, and I invite you to open the palms of your hands to be in the receiving shape, the receiving pose, bringing in yang energy from the sky. And then exhale, hands float down, and let's warm up this hamstring by walking your hands back towards your hips, lengthening that right leg, coming onto the heel of the right foot. Pull the toes towards the knees. Try to square your shoulders and keep some length in your spine. Maybe those blocks would help you to give a little bit more space. And tune in to this hamstring opener. This is half Hanumasana, half split. Return the sole of the right foot to the ground and hands frame that right foot. And let's take that right knee back and find yourself in table. Then left foot comes forward and find the 90-degree bend. Find the stable foundation. Maybe this is just what's right for you today. And when you activate those muscles, glutes, core, quads, hamstrings, lift up. Feel the spine lengthen. Feel this long channel of energy. And just breathe into it. Pull your shoulder blades together. Maybe your gaze lifts. Perhaps your hands tilt open. And then if you want to add to it, you give yourself a little assistance with the hands returning to the ground. The front foot can walk forward. The hips lower a little deeper. Check in before you rise up to see how that feels. And if it's okay, you lift. You lengthen. And you sink your hips. Perhaps you lift your gaze, Anjali Asana. And then exhale, hands float down to frame the front foot. As you begin to walk hands back towards your hips, lengthen the front leg, come onto the left heel, pull the toes towards the knees. Try to square the shoulders. Try to have a long spine and just tune into the back of the left leg. And then place the left sole of the foot back on the ground. Hands frame that left foot and you release. Left knee meets right knee. Back in table. Let's take child's pose. Knees go wide, big toes touch. Lower your hips towards your heels. Walk your hands out to lengthen your spine and then lower your body down. Rest the forehead. Ease up in the arms. And really try to sink into this pose, this beautiful restorative pose, child's pose. I'm coming up and out of it to talk to you. You're staying in child's pose to breathe deeply. Notice that you've folded your body into thirds. And in that folding, you are passively opening your hips, passively opening your low back, and passively opening your shoulders. Now tune into your breath. Really sense the ribs. Can you feel the ribs expand laterally, left and right? Being in this position gives you a little bit more sensation of the depth of the breath. And now draw your attention to the back ribs. And when you breathe in, can you feel the back body inflate? Just tuning in, letting your awareness move into that region and slowing the breath rate, slowing the breath down, slowing the heart rate down, taking advantage of this pose. And then you'll begin to rise up out of it as you lift your forehead off the ground. Know that you resting your forehead there, you're activating many calming energy points. As you lift up into table, tuck your toes. I'm going to sit you back into Vajrasana. Try to lift your lower back or fill the lower back out. This is not a big sway back. So point the tailbone down. Inhale, fill up the low back and lift the low back. Lift your heart, pull shoulder blades together. This is stimulating kidney 1 energy points, so a lot of benefits. And it's lengthening quads, affecting hamstrings, calves, and your ankles. If you cannot stand this for very long, then you have variations. You can come to standing knees. You could sit on the tops of your feet, or you could sit on a block or rest your sit bones on a block. But I am going to hold you here for a little bit. So find a position that you can sustain. It might be in Vajrasana traditional, or it might be otherwise. So I want you to take 4 fingers and place them on the inside of your wrist. Right, beginning, the pinky finger begins at the crease of the wrist. And where the knuckle of the first finger is, place your thumb right there and remove your hands. The thumb should be on the inside of this cartilage that runs vertical down your arm. And then thumb stays inside, but the fingers come outside the wrist. This is pericardium 6, great point. You could circle, but right now we're just lightly pressing the thumb. And then inhale, arms up overhead to make a loose diamond. And I just want you to twist in your torso to one side, come back to center, then twist to the other side and come back to center and release. Let go of that energy point, and perhaps you have to rearrange. Maybe you come onto the tops of the feet, maybe you come to standing knees. Let's do on the other side, 4 fingers. The pinky finger starts at the crease of the wrist. The thumb rests of the same hand, rests right at the first finger knuckle. Remove the hands, you've got the point on the inside of the cartilage. And then thumb stays there, fingers come to the outside of the wrist. As you inhale, lift, arms up overhead for a loose diamond, pressing into pericardium 6, an important acupuncture point, as you twist. Twist to one side, twist to the other side, come back to center, and release the hold and let it go. Let's come to standing. Remove your blanket. And when you're up and standing, just shake your legs out, shake your arms out, shake the whole body out, and let's come into a balanced pose. So it'll be tree pose. The right leg is our standing leg. Shift your weight to the right and just begin with a few knee or leg circles. Just to come into a single leg balance and get a little opening in the hip. And come back to 2 feet, and then let's go right into tree pose. Right leg is our anchor leg. Be light on the left, draw the knee away from the midline and choose. You could have the big toe touching. You could have your bent leg foot at the calf, or you can lift it up into the upper inner thigh. And wherever you choose, you're adding pressure. You're pressing the bent leg foot into the standing leg, and you're keeping all your muscles engaged, strong. Feel that, tune into that kidney 1 point connected to the ground. Receive energy up as you transfer energy down. Hands come to your heart. When you're ready, keep that core engaged, keep all the muscles of the lower body engaged as you transform your energy and lift it up through the upper body, light, lifting, strong, and balanced. Let your eyes focus on a static point on the wall and breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Blow out the candle. Bring it all back to your center and release and let it go and really let it go. Be soft in all of your joints. Be soft and fluid in your muscles. Take a breath in and a breath out as we prepare to do this on the other side. Let's shift your weight to the left leg and just begin with a few knee circles, a few leg circles. You might have a lot of balance and lift that leg up really high, or you might want to keep the big toe touching. We work from our own beginning point. If we start away from our beginning point, then we get lost. So begin where you're at for today. It might be different tomorrow. Weight is in your in your left leg, light on your right as you draw that knee away from the midline. And each side is different. You don't know unless you experiment. The big toe could touch the ground and the heel touch the standing leg, or you can come up to the calf. Whatever you do, you just don't press that foot on the knee because we want some pressure. So with assistance, you might come up to the upper inner thigh, press the bent leg foot into the standing leg presses against the bent leg foot. Add the tension. Keep the tension in the lower half of the body. Find the drishti. Wobbling is what trees do. Trees move in the wind. And then draw energy up from the earth, through the kidney 1 point, up the legs, up the center of your body. You might keep your hands at your heart, or you might lift them up overhead. Keep breathing. Keep engaging your muscles in the lower half of the body so that you can be light and lifting in the upper half of your body. And then bring it to your center and release and let it go. And really let it go. And then we'll bring our blocks to the top of the mat for sun salutations. We're going to add in from the very beginning. So find Tadasana at the top of your mat. Remembering that sun salutations are a collection of poses that are linked breath to breath, pose to pose. And they take you through the whole gamut of poses. And so we repeat these. And with repetition, we benefit. So clear your mind. Find Tadasana. Connect your feet to the earth. Turn your palms up to the sky and inhale. Arms out wide and up high. Look up. Urdhva. Turn your palms away and exhale. Hinge at the hips to bow. Inhale, rise halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Really lift and lengthen the spine. Point the tailbone away and point the crown of the head in the opposite direction. Pull shoulder blades together and pull your belly in. Exhale, forward fold. Hands frame the feet or touch your blocks as you step the right foot back. Straight leg lunge. Hips lower, heart lifts. Fingers are light. And lower down. Knee touches the earth. As you inhale, lift up long and tall. Look up to challenge your balance. Exhale, hands float down. If you have blocks, you walk the blocks back towards your hips. Lengthen the front leg and come onto the heel of the front toe. And perhaps you bow forward to add to this hamstring lengthening. And then release. Left foot touches the ground. Hands frame the front foot. Lift the back knee and step back, downward facing dog. First down dog of the day, take a little time to warm up. Bend both knees deeply and add some length. Walk the dog, one heel down, opposite knee bends. Moving a couple times side to side, and then check in with your head and neck. Shake your head, yes. And turn your head, no. And then align it so that arms frame the ears. On an inhale, shift forward to plank. Pull your belly to your spine. Broad, strong shoulders. Heels push back behind you. And then we come down. You can either have knees touch the ground for half plank or lower in full plank. Exhale down, heart, belly. The lower half of the body connects with the mat as you inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Keep elbows bent and elbows pointing back. Exhale down to the ground, tuck your toes, inhale to table. Exhale, lift up, downward facing dog, and stay here for a couple breaths. Feel free to adjust your feet. Feel free to adjust your body, and then find stillness as you tune into your breath here in this pose. Come a little deeper by pulling your ribs towards your thighs. Point your tailbone up. You're not rounding in the low back, you're exaggerating and pointing the tailbone up. And then inhale, right leg lifts up long behind you, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee, pull it to ribs, step it forward. And sink back down, straight leg lunge. Back knee lowers. Inhale, sweep up, Anjali look at your thumbs. Exhale, hands flow down. Walk hands back to hips, lengthen the front leg, come up onto the heel and pull the toes to the knees. If you want to add more, then you bring ribs towards thigh. Try to keep the spine long. Exhale, right foot touches the ground. Fingers frame the front foot. Back knee rises. Press off back foot to join the front foot. You're in your forward fold. Check in with these hamstrings while you're here in Uttanasana. Can you add a little bit more length? Can you point the crown of the head down as you lift your hips up? Pull your belly to the spine as you inhale, arms out wide and up high. Rise up, reach up, look up, hands touch. Exhale, pull it to your heart and release and let it go. Shake that out, let those sun salutations go. And we're going to add in Warrior 2 to Parsvattanasana. It is helpful to have blocks. I know not everybody has blocks, so let's use the substitute and see how they work. Frame your substitute, your books or your toilet paper rolls, frame them around the outsides of your feet. Stand in mountain pose. Hands at the hips as you inhale and exhale. Step the left foot back a comfortable distance so that the whole back foot can touch the ground and the feet are angled out at 45 degrees. Turn your hip points to face the short edge of your mat. And then add a bend to the knee. Coming into Warrior 1. Adjust your feet so you're comfortable. The wider your feet are apart, the more steady and balanced you are. All right, and then let's energetically add to this pose as you push this front leg forward. Whether you think of it as the shin pushing forward or this front thigh pushing forward. And then let this hamstring activate. Squeeze the muscle. That you might just be squeezing the thigh, but as you press forward, that hamstring should activate. Now press down through the back heel, draw your belly in and up, point your tailbone down, and lift arms up. And really lift up and lengthen. Let your sternum lift. Pull your shoulder blades together, and maybe your gaze lifts. Warrior 1. Now straighten that front leg and hinge at the hips, not at the waist. Keep that spine beautiful and long until your spine becomes parallel to the ground. Let the arms come down. They might touch your knee. They might reach these blocks or the substitute, but you want to try to keep square shoulders rather than rounded spine. So meet your body where it's at, where you can keep the rectangle of the spine, 2 hips, 2 shoulder blades. And then if this is good, you stay here and breathe. And if you can add to it by pulling ribs towards thighs. Keep the spine long. You're challenging this front hamstring. And this pose is called Parsvattanasana. And then release that, lift a little bit, add a bend to the knee, press down through the front foot as we rise back up into Warrior 1. Lift your heart, soften through the shoulders. And then hands come to your heart as you pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Press off back foot to join front foot. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. And we'll do the other side. Hands at the hips, breath in. Exhale, step your Right foot back. Take your time. Place it in the right position. Add some space between the feet, and the back foot is totally connected with the earth, with the toes pointing at about 45 degrees. Bending in the front knee, pull your belly in, point the tailbone down, and arms rise up. Once they're up, maybe you can lift up through the sternum, pull the shoulder blades together down the back, soften the shoulders. Add this energetic tension as this front leg pushes forward, and yet the feet draw back. It's an isometric tension. You're scissoring the legs, and even within this leg, push the top of the leg forward and the hamstring draws back. Activate, push into the back heel. Feel warrior one. Feel that column of energy up and down your spine. Then straighten the front leg and hinge at the hips and come into Tadasana, trying to get your spine parallel with the ground. Arms will now float down under shoulders. Your hands can rest at your knees. Depending upon your flexibility, your hands might touch tall blocks or whatever prop you have, but try to keep the rectangle of the spine. And if that means hands at knees, then you're keeping the integrity of the pose. Core is active and pulled in. If you want to add to this, and I invite you to bring ribs closer to thigh to come into more of a challenge. Tadasana. And then come out of that forward fold, bend in the front knee, press to lift the spine up. And then to come out of it, let your hands meet at your heart as you pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Press off back foot to join front foot. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Release your hands to your thighs, and let's come down to the mat. Come on down to a seated pose. And let's do the triple warmer hold to do our sit backs. So come into Tadasana. Heels, legs are long, press your heels into the ground, pull toes towards knees, and try to have horizontal legs and a vertical spine. If you want to add the hold, you place left hand on right ribs and right hand just above the elbow. This is the triple warmer hold. Inhale, lift up through the heart, long spine, and exhale halfway back, knowing that we will be rising back up. Strong core, strong legs, press your heels into the ground, flex your feet. Inhale, back up. And now take a breath in and exhale and hold at halfway mark. And then release the bind and come all the way down. And release the weight of your body and take a deep breath in. Bend your knees. Find constructive rest with your hands facing up toward the ceiling. And enjoy your breath. Lift your knees off the ground. Hands touch the tops of the knees. Arms are long. Your big toes can touch as a connection point. Now let's row the knees. Take the knees out wide, making a circle. And bring them in. You can go in both directions. First, just do about 3 in one direction. And 3 in another, the reverse direction. A little hip opener. And let that go. Feet touch the ground. And for our supine twist, let's take the arms out wide. If you have the block or the toilet paper roll, you can put that between the legs. That's just helping you to keep alignment with legs and hips. And it's an offering, it's not necessary. If you have it, the block or the roll or the book, you squeeze that prop lightly between your knees, lift your feet off the ground, lift your knees up as high as you can, and then exhale to twist and allow the knees to fall to the one side. I'm going to the right first. And the higher up the knees are, the bigger, deeper the twist. If that doesn't feel good on your spine, then you can lower those knees down away from the heart. And let the feet rest. Let the legs be heavy. And then draw your left shoulder blade back down toward the earth and turn to look over the left arm. And breathe. And then pull your head back to center. Use your core and these leg muscles to pull back up to center. And just rest here. The feet can touch the ground as you tune in. Your body is back in alignment. On your next inhale, lift the feet off the ground again and pull the knees to the chest. And exhale, knees fall to the other side. And once you have released the weight of the knees to the ground, something is supporting, something is holding the weight of your legs. Pull the right shoulder blade back down to the earth and look over the right arm. Breathe into this. Thinking about that column of energy, the spinal column of energy. Pull your head back to center. Use your core and pull the legs back to center. And release the block if you are using one. And coming into Shavasana, unfurl the legs long. And the invitation is to walk heels out to opposite corners and feet flop open. Arms are traditionally at your side, 10 to 12 inches away from the body with palms facing up. Coming back inward, drawing attention back inward. The invitation is to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. You let go of effort. You let go of trying. You release control here in this final pose of yoga. And you stay here for several minutes, and I'll draw you back to attention with the ring of a bell. And slowly begin to deepen your breath. Allow small movement with fingers and toes. They wiggle. Bend your wrists. Roll your ankles. Invite your head to turn one way. And then very slowly turn the other way. When you're ready, allow your body to move in any way that feels good. And eventually you'll bend your knees and roll to one side and pause there, lingering in this stillness a moment longer.
And when you're ready, press off with your hand and your elbow and come up to a seated position. When things have settled, let your hands meet at your heart in Anjali Mudra, and I invite you to bow your head to your heart. Call to mind your intention. Take your intention with you off the mat. Think of it as a funnel for your energy to move in the way of your choosing. We mentioned the law of physics, that energy is neither created nor destroyed, can only be transformed or transferred. I have a quote from Sarah Blondin. She said, "Moments of sadness and fear cannot be cured or defeated. They can only be transformed by learning to love yourself when they arise." Take a big deep breath in. And an even deeper, longer, slower, smoother breath out. And join me in this Sanskrit word, this greeting, this acknowledgement of the light that we share. Namaste. Thank you for your practice.